Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I know, shocker, huh? I don't have a button shirt on. It's okay, they robbed me. They robbed me, so I decided to wear this Zelensky Stein kind of shirt. Well, it doesn't really matter how we look here. It matters what we talk about, right? The subject, not the form, but the content. So the substance, not the form. We have an article here from two Ukrainian media outlets. One is the Kiev Independent and the other one is Ukrainska Pravda. And it seems like Avdiivka is in bad shape. That is, the Ukrainians are not allowing the volunteers to enter or the media in Avdiivka anymore. So that means we're not going to find out anything from international media, what's going on in Avdiivka, unless we listen to the Ukrainians. And since I'm in the free world, I can't access whatever I want to access as information because they don't allow me. I made a point on a previous video, and if I want to access, some bad dudes, the Russians, for instance, Sputnik or Russia Today or other unapproved media outlets, they don't let me. And yeah, let's self-censor because that's fantastic. That way we learn what the truth is by the ones who allow us to access only what they say is the truth. Great, but I have idiots that I met here, where I'm at right now, being just fine with that. And I said, okay, well, good. That's why we function as well, and we go up and down or around in a circle. So let's go to this article here. And the first one comes from the Kiev Independent, and it says that Avdiivka closed for volunteers and press as situation deteriorates. March 27th, 2023. And the other one is coming from Ukrainska Pravda. They show us a map. That's why I picked this one, actually. I like visual learning and exposing reality, if I can. Volunteers and journalists banned from entering Avdiivka. City is in red zone. Blah, 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 blah. Red is the color of love, so must be in their love zone. So we have Avdiivka right here. These are the Russians pushing around, and they will probably encircle them right here and bye-bye with Avdiivka, as they did almost with Bakhmut, the same tactic. And it seems here's the same thing. They're going to use the Vitaly Barabash, which they used in the other article. They start with Vitaly Barabash, head of the Avdiivka city military administration, said on March 27th that due to the worsening situation in the city, entry to the frontline city in Donetsk Oblast is now prohibited for journalists and volunteers. And I'm quoting, this is an order, a direct ban on entering the city, Barbash reported. He called on media representatives and volunteers not to violate this ban by trying to enter the city. And I would add that we will be the one who are going to tell you what's going on, okay? And you're going to trust us because we are good. That's how the story goes. Everything goes here in we are good because we say so, and they are bad because also. That's because we say so. It's childish, my friends, but since we have a majority of our fellow humanoids having an IQ very, very high, then those people will totally agree with that. They need a mommy and a daddy and a God to tell them what they're supposed to and guide them and protect them from this evil life. Now, those are not strong people, I tell you that. I mean, you can be deluded and say, yeah, I'm strong, but when you're going to be put in front of a challenge, you're going to say, hey, mommy, daddy, help me. Remember? Please help me. Now, how strong are you? But anyway, this is not a moral session or anything like that. I'm just very upset now. Not very upset. I'm always very upset, but particularly today is It's this is, these guys don't let me access other sites, and this is what bothers me. They don't let me get idiot by myself if I want, or if they don't let me punch myself in the balls if I want. I don't like this kind of things. I would like to have the ability to step on my balls if I can reach them, but probably I'm not at the age when I can, they're running around the room without me noticing and accidentally stepping on them. But anyway, let's go to this little article. Previously, on March 26, Barabash stated that in total about 2,000 civilians, including 7 children, still live in the city, which has no water and electricity supply and is constantly under Russian shelling. Why is it under Russian shelling? Oh, because they invaded. Oh, okay, but what is the Ukrainian military doing in Avdiivka, for instance? Oh, defending Avdiivka, the 2,000 civilians? Oh, okay. So I'm guessing that the Russians are after Avdiivka because the Ukrainian military is over there, isn't it? Oh, Emil, what? Are they not supposed to defend their city? No, they are. They are. But I think they also have to take part of the responsibility why the Russians bombard the city. Remember, and I'm going to use to say that, I'm going to use to support my argument, as we in used to be Western civilization did for so many thousands of years. You provide evidence to support that, and I would provide one fantastic piece of evidence, historical evidence, as a matter of fact, and that is Paris. When Blitzkrieg, started, and in 3 weeks they got to Paris or something. The guys in Paris said, "Okay, we designate Paris as an open city. That means we're not going to fight you over here, but don't destroy it." It seems like Ukrainians had a different kind of take on this. So even if the French lost part of France, including their capital, you can still visit it in its original state because it was declared a open city. Well, it seems like these guys function by a different kind of set of rules. So that's why I'm saying partly the fact that those guys are doing, you can call it however you want. So you sleep well tonight, those criminals, use whatever terms you want. The unprovoked war, the evil guys. But part of it, they're going to chase you where you're at. So if you're in your girlfriend's bedroom, as a military, he's going to chase you there. So don't go to your girlfriends at this time, okay? Because they're going to bomb you over there. So it's like you don't want to get in trouble. Don't go in a certain kind of locations where you might go in trouble, okay? You can go, but then the consequences, there's gonna be they're gonna be also proving that you made the wrong decisions, or at least are partly guilty of the decisions. Right now is pretty evening here, or night, I would say. And if I go, let's say, to a bar right now, and I go in a certain part of town, I expose myself probably to some risk of getting in a fist fight with some drunks. More than if I would go tomorrow, let's say at 4 p.m., don't you think? And I go in a good side of the town. I mean, I have to say these kind of things because sometimes you have to go so low, not with you guys, but some people need it, So you say, oh, yeah, okay. All right, let's go back to these weasels and see what they have to say. And I'm quoting, "Unfortunately, children still remain in the city. There are irresponsible parents who hide their children and don't want to leave the city." Why don't you leave the city? What do you defend? Ukraine per se in the city? The industrial city of Avdiivka, located 5 kilometers north of Russian-occupied Donetsk, has been a target of Russian attacks since 2014. I disagree with this. When Russia first invaded Ukraine, I disagree with that. Prior to February 13, 8 workers and civilians were barred by the Ukrainian military from entering the city of Bakhmut as Russian forces established fire control over the last remaining roads into the city. With the Russian forces making recent gains on the flanks of Avdiivka, Ukrainian military spokesperson Oleksiy Dmitrashivsky acknowledged on March 20th that the city could become a second Bakhmut. Now I have to provide you with this, why I don't think this is right here, is Russian attacks. Russia first invaded? Well, I would like to see that evidence. They say, well, yeah, there were people killed, okay. Well, you can look into the entire history that is still available there. If you can find it, they still allow you to access it through your internet browsers, and you find out what happened in 2014, and you're going to find out it was a coup d'etat in Kiev, organized by some, by all standards, by all definitions in the dictionary, they are traitors because they overthrew a legitimate, recognized by the United Nations, that's why it's legitimate, democratically elected, as we elect here in United States or in Germany, you know, corrupt or less corrupt. Who's not corrupt? They're all corrupt. Let's go with that one, more or less. And democratically elected. So democratically elected, wherever you want to turn it. So I think it was Viktor Yanukovych was overthrown by some dudes. Now that was an insurrection, but it was not even an insurrection. It was an overthrow over there, coup d'etat. And it was with the support of foreign agencies. Now that's a definition of treason. Because if you do that in your country where you are and you do such thing and you're held by another country from outside or their agencies, you are a traitor right there. And if your little coup d'etat is unsuccessful, then you get shot or hanged or something. That's for traitors, last time I checked. But hey, some countries, I don't know, sodomize you, or I don't know. That's what I heard. So we have that. And then what happened after that? Surprisingly, the new leadership of Ukraine at that point, after these guys that if you take the dictionary would be traitors, the government, the leaders, were recognized by the countries who say that they are the biggest promoters and supporters of democracy, United States and the Europeans. And, it's kind of strange, don't you think? I mean, someone goes and overthrows a legitimate, democratically elected government through violence, and then they're recognized by the people who say, oh, no, we love democracy. So, yes, and then what happened in Donetsk and Lugansk and Crimea? They said, well, we don't recognize you. You overthrew a legitimate government. And those guys, what did they do? They sent tanks, Ukrainian tanks, to take care of their citizens. So you see, they did the same thing they didn't like to be done to them when they overthrew the government with the help of the other guys. And the guys in Donetsk and Luhansk and Crimea said, no, we're not going to do that. And then Russia says, you know what? We're going to help you, provide you with weapons and all that. And that's been happening since 2014 until 2023 and 2022. And now, I mean, it extended into this one, and a lot of people died. How many? The Russians say it was about between 10,000 and 15,000 that died. Why don't we hear about those civilians killed and so on? Because we are good and they are bad. Why? Because we say so. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.